All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is September 11th, 2017. This is a Monday night webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is Waiting for the Right Trade Setups. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? That thing takes a full minute to say, by the way. Maybe we should shorten it. Read the disclaimer. Okay, let's see. Jack is asking, he says, on a 3-6 object trader Renko NQ chart, can you show how to find the medium swing on a 3-6 object trader Renko NQ chart? And can you show us how to find? Okay. All right. I'll tell you what, Jack, we'll show that in just a few minutes and remind me in just a little bit, and I'll definitely show that to you. Okay. Chris is saying, Chris F is saying, have trouble seeing when trend changes, like on oil today, to give an example, right? Well, remember I called it in the room. We didn't personally take it, but we did call it again, even when it came down to, that light retracement. We drew the line. We were just through for the day, but you could certainly take it. But I'll show you how to see that trend change in real time. Okay. All right, because that's what this webinar is about, is waiting for the right trade setup. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show some charts and we will get started here. All right, I'm going to show you the oil chart right off. Now, when you start your day, okay, first off, what you want to look at the overall trend, right? That's extremely important because notice how when I scrunch that down, that doesn't look quite as prominent as it does when it's all stretched up and everything. So you have a thrust down, a retrace, a thrust down, a retrace. Hasn't really taken anything out. It could go either way, right? That's why we trade either way. But what you want to do is when you get in your trading room, and I purposely put this, I'm thinking about this about when I got up this morning, right around 6:40-ish. So my computer was up and running by around this time. I'm pretty sure that's when it was. But what you want to do is you want to draw on your charts. Okay, extremely important to draw on your charts. Take your horizontal line and draw your support and definitely draw your resistance. Okay, that's an absolute must, because if you don't know where that channel is, for instance, then you're liable to go, against it the wrong way and give it too much of a larger trail stop, so to speak, or, and leave some money on the table. You don't want to do that. Okay, and let's see, NQ chart, Jack. Yeah, I'll get that on that NQ chart. I don't have one with a 3-6 object trader on it, but we can definitely look at that. Absolutely. Okay. Now, when you draw this like this, with this being green, wouldn't you kind of expect that if it was to test 62, that it would more than likely bounce? So that's what I'd see when I'm looking at a chart like this. I'd see, supports down here, supports also here, resistance here, and even resistance here. Okay. Now, if I was to take a long trade on this, I would actually want it to bounce off of some kind of a support level. Okay. So that's one of the first things that you want to do. Okay, you want to draw on your charts and make sure that, well, basically that you know where to take that trade then, right? Because drawing on your charts will help you with that. Let me show you what I saw when I was actually trading this morning. Basically, what you could do is use the little region. I don't know how many trades it's going to give me, because that touch, I don't really exactly like that as much, simply because we've got to get that little glitch fixed on it. But I would just simply set this up something like that, because we've got like a little thrust down, retrace, thrust. So that's my lightning identified swing right there. Okay. And I'm going to take a long trade though if it does come down to this line right here, okay? And we'll just see if we can get something. And by the way, remember when I was in this trade this morning, we were looking actually at the open of the market, the little box drew and everything. So we drew our box, and that's what you want to do, in real time, is draw that box and make sure that you're ready to take the trade either direction that it decides to go. Okay. Now, when would this change trends from what we've got right now? Anybody? Anybody? Because what I look for, let's see, we need a line. Yeah, we'll use this one right here. All right. Well, we can use an arrow instead. Let's use an arrow. All right. So you've got support here, right? So wouldn't you think that if this broke down and this came back and kissed and then it rolled over, that would pretty much be a short, right? But if it bounces, okay, we just hit support. Now I would put a pretty tight stop on that, okay? Simply because that support needs to hold. Okay, and we'll go ahead and set it on exit on close, just in case. Okay, and this may actually take you out because obviously what can happen, it can take you out of a trade. Okay, but it looks like we got about a $20 loss. I remember watching this trade this morning. It was 40, up, 40 down, break even, 40 up, kind of like that. Okay, and of course you'd want to put one of your targets, out of the way just in case you did get a runner, right? Okay, so wouldn't that have been a good trade? Just looking for that to bounce off support. But we're also in our head, we're thinking, okay, what if this actually breaks down below 62 and it could just crater it, right? But it could also more than likely thrust down, retrace, and then roll over. So you're looking for that also. Okay, now if this was to break to the upside, I see like a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace. So this is pretty much what I consider to be my secondary swing. And since I see one over here too, I would really want this to actually break up something like this if we were to take this to the long side on a break and a retrace. Same type of trade that we're looking at here. Okay, probably not that high, obviously, but something like that. And then a retrace, and then a resumption of buying. By then, our mid-band would probably be up there anyway. Okay, so this is what you want to do, pretty much on your charts every single day, especially when you've got, a sideways action like we had this morning, to give an example. They run all last night, and then, overnight they kind of did a lot of retracement, but it gives you some good trades like that. Okay, now one thing you want to also do is the closer you get to 759, which we're not there yet, you'll want to be sure and have the little box ready for your region for 759. Let's see, you're using 10, 10, and 10 and 40. Well, actually, Peter, I have this one set like that, but the targets, when I set a target to begin with, the only thing I don't like is having a 5 tick that can hit too quick. I like to set it at 10 and then even pull it accordingly. So if it decides, for instance, to, let's say you've got your targets set up at 10, to give an example, they're pretty much out of the way. But if you've got it at 5 ticks and you're moving it while it gets hit, you can kill your lines and everything. So I usually use a 10 tick. But if I wanted to take some profit on this, I would probably look at the swings. Like right across here with 2 contracts, that would be a decent little trade, right, to 76. So that's pretty much where we got that. We'll go ahead and move the target down a little bit. And that would at least get you one target at a swing. Okay, so don't pay so much attention to what was used as the targets, because that was actually, from a webinar that I did a few weeks ago on the 10, 10, and 40, 10, 10, 10, and 40. But you can use that if you want. Sometimes it's best to go ahead and use 10, 12, 14, and 40 or something like that, because that way your lines aren't on top of each other. Because when your lines are on top of each other, you're trying to drag them while those prices are moving. Okay. The main thing is you just don't want to have a 5 tick and be dragging that line as it hits it, because it will get rid of your prices. We're working on solving that as a problem, but so far that's just, it takes the indicator off the chart, and the indicator is the lines. Okay. Now we'll move our stop like right up. Whoop, went ahead. See, I moved my stop at the same time that was hitting a target, so I killed my trade. But anyway, we got $200. Okay. Now to turn your region off again, just hit insert. Okay. And then you just simply watch for the 759. I'll go ahead and fast forward it just a little bit so we can get to it. 100 times, that should go pretty quick. 748, 50, 51. That's pretty good right there. All right. So what you're doing when the box shows up, okay, and to me, I think, one is live because that's that problem that we got to fix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that one out. So we'll go ahead and close it. And that will kill Object Trader. Be sure and close it on your NinjaTrader if it doesn't show up on your Object Trader. Because as I dragged that stop, it was actually doing a little thrust. And when it does that, for some reason, that does that problem. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. So we got 110, all right? So we're going to wait for the little box. And the way you want to draw that little box is wait for the little region to draw that you put on your chart with your time regions. So here's 759. I like to use that one myself. And I use a white one for the 759. You can use it on a zone tick of 4 or even a 5 if you want. If you want a 10 tick box, you can use a 5 instead. Okay. So make sure that's set. And then when that box shows up, what you want to do as a trader is to simply get the box in line with the box that shows up on the chart. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see, we've got 758, so about 20 seconds the box should start drawing. 17 more seconds. And 10 more seconds. 3 more seconds. And that should be your little box. Now what you do with your box, what I like to personally do is go ahead and draw it, okay? If I see a swing to the left, I want to at least take that out. You can do something like that right there. Now, if the box, beauty of this new box is you can simply do it like that. You can drag it while it's actually live on your chart. Now remember this morning, we're actually still long from this one over here, or I think it was here, that we got in a little bit early. And it just kind of pounded it through the box. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I kind of had. I kind of had 2 contracts long, and then this thing just literally pounded through that box. But I had it long from down here, where support was. But I'm going to show you how quick you can actually give up your money if you're not careful. And by the way, you can even do like, for instance, they give that little, what we call the little bump, the little fake at the open. Now see, I'd probably do it like that now, because see, that's like a lightning swing. You can even turn on lightning as far as that goes. Okay. Now watch it as it goes through here. That should actually reverse the trade and fire 4, but you're going to see the way I got it this morning. I think it fired down in here somewhere. See, like that? See there? Now, quickly, if you had like a bunch of contracts, to give an example, that could actually have you negative. So you want to be real careful, with your trades, obviously, at the open, because at the open, they could have been heading up, you get a nice support bounce, and then all of a sudden they just crater it. But these boxes at the open, what I like about them personally is that it gives you an idea of where the, basically the open timing was right here, and then this box keeps drawing for 30 minutes. Okay. Now, if you wanted to add to this little trade, you could even do something like that. If it gets like within, say, 3 ticks of that box, you could go ahead and add maybe 2 or something like that. You can even move this thing dynamically. See how I just added 2 to it real easily just by simply telling my box I wanted a touch plus 3. Okay. Now we're still short, remember, on this box. This made us feel a little bit like it might have tried to go back up, but all it did was kissed this little area right here. And that's what I want to show everybody tonight, is how to see these areas in real time and draw on your charts. Because if this would have taken this out, then more than likely we would have gotten stopped out. Okay, because the top of our box technically would be right there with that swing. And I'd probably do that right there like that if this thing decided to go against me. Okay, everybody see how we do that with the box even? And one thing I want to mention too, if you ever have a situation like I just did where that kind of zipped up there and it got rid of my stops and everything because I was dragging that stop the moment that shotgun, I don't know why in the code that it actually does that. And if I could duplicate it for the guy, it would be a lot easier for him to find. We're trying to get it. But if you ever have that, be sure and check your positions, right click and close them out. Okay, because if you don't have anything on your chart, or just simply go to Chart Trader instead and turn off Object Trader, and you could still have your trade on. But you don't want to just leave it on with no stops or anything, okay? Because that would not be smart. Okay. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Anybody, if you happen to miss this trade, where's another one? Because it's important to be able to see where the next trade is on this chart. Anybody? Everybody? What do you think? Because I like to draw lines on my charts. And you're going to see just how beautiful they can be. If it breaks this support, let's just go ahead and save our, because I did move mine today. I'm going to do it like I traded it. Because I just kept going and just put my stop just above the swing, and then you could turn the box off if you wanted to. But does everybody see that if this breaks down below here, to give an example, don't you think it'll probably do this right here? It'll break support, it'll come back and kiss it as resistance, and that's one of my favorite trades. Real-time Lightning is going to solve this for us to begin with, because once we get that done, it'll be a little breakout trade, and we'll even have it to where it can, try to do the little retracement trade too, built into the code. But what I look for, let's say that if I wasn't even in this trade, let's just pretend we didn't even have it, I'll just flatten it. Does everybody see where you can get in this trade anyway? Because all you got to do is draw your Lightning, and watch this in real time if it doesn't do that. Watch it make a liar to me and just shoot it all the way to the bottom. But let's just see if it does. I'll go ahead and speed it up just a little bit. Didn't that come right back to that same area right there and roll over? It's exactly what it did, didn't it? So where do you think it'll probably go this time around? Let's just draw some lines and see. I'll get rid of this one because it's not as important now. Could we take a chance on that right there? That's hitting at resistance on what we call our micro resistance. Wouldn't we put our stop just above the swing? See how that works? Let's see, in this case, a real trend was setting up. How can you clearly distinguish the real ones from the chop? Well, Lee, on your question, basically at the open, I think you do get some more of the trend changes themselves. But keep in mind, even in chop, let's look at this chart. We'll just leave this trade on because I trust it. All right, let's look over here. We had a thrust up, so you would draw your line. We had a retrace, you'd draw your line, right? So basically, until that point, that was chop, right? Because this would be chop until it took out this top, came back and kissed it and kept heading up, if that would have happened. Kind of like this did over here. See, this is chop here, but look where you could actually draw your swing. See this swing here? Thrust, retrace, thrust. There's your swing. Notice how they just barely took it out. That's what they do. I always look at my secondary swing, which is right there. They won't take out the secondary, but they'll usually kiss it. Because these are micro. I look at secondary and the, so in other words, you're looking lightning, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace. This one actually came up to here. This one came up to here. I'd have two lines there. And so when did you know this was actually going to go short again instead of choppy? When you get, okay, you got a low, you got a high, you got a higher low, you got a higher high, right? So this was doing nothing more than a deep retracement. But if you look at your support areas, when this actually starts breaking, see it break that support right there? That was pretty much telling it was heading down. Same way over here when it started breaking this support. See how it broke that, came back and kissed it and rolled over? See how perfectly we found that little lightning swing there? Just simply because that's what they do. They go back and they check these little swing areas. You want to see if we can hit it again? Let's see if we can hit it again. Let's just see if we can get a little consolidation patch, draw our line on our chart, and see if we can nail it again. Let's look to the left to trade the right. And let's see here. Let's get rid of these for a minute because I don't really need them. All right, so you had a little patch here that's already tested here. See it? It's already tested there. So we're going to test here, aren't we? We're going to test right there, right? Watch and see if it doesn't. See, when they're in what we call the micro mode, they check these little micro swings. Yeah, you could actually, you want to see, let's just say that you just walked in the room. Could you actually say, do something like this? I'm going to go ahead and put that there because we're not going to take a long. Go ahead and do a close. Keep in mind, if you do a close on this, you've got to use your lightning swing as your stop, right? Where's our lightning swing on this? Now, we've already missed a thrust, but this is actually still a decent area to enter as long as we don't take out our lightning swing. Okay, so our lightning swing is right across here. See it right there? It's already kissed here. Now it's going to kiss here, by the way. See it? It's going to kiss right there. And our stop would be right here. Think that'll work? Let's find out. Draw your lines on your charts and you'll see right where they're going. And I'll guarantee you, once you start seeing this, you'll be able to nail more trades than you ever dreamed you could. Because I can see the next trade already. And I know a lot of our people can. What do you think? Let's just see if it'll break. And we'll draw the line before it ever gets there to where it's going to kiss again. You want to? Let's try it. I'm leaving it going in one time just for a minute. We'll see if we can get it. How many want to bet? I leaned against my mute deal. It's in my lap here, and how many want to bet that this will break 42 and come back and kiss it and roll over. If we're going to continue our trend down, that is. Okay, so we're flat, but let's just take a little breakout trade. Closes the bar, we'll go ahead and get in it. Okay, object traders in the trade. Now remember, if you got 10 ticks, they're on top of each other like that, okay? Now you do want to look to the left to trade the right, so I'd probably protect some coin right here at 27, wouldn't you? Okay, but watch and see if this doesn't do just what I said it would do. Let's get that out of the way, get that out of the way. For some reason they're not dragging. When Charles and I draw these lines, and granted he can't draw the lines in the room because I've got the charts, but don't you think that more than likely it'll come right back into here, kiss and roll over? So if I was wanting to take this trade and add contracts, couldn't I just simply do, you know what, I'll just do a close outside this again, or I could do a touch like +1 or something like that. I'd be adding actually 2 contracts to it because I'm looking at it kissing, and I would put my stop just above this swing. That's my primary swing. This is my secondary swing right here. So I'd put stop just above secondary. Exit on close. Okay, we may not get it, but to me, it should. If it breaks down through here, it should go back and kiss it. Now, usually they'll break down a little bit, then go back and kiss, and then roll. Not necessarily just in 2 bars. Okay, let's speed it up and see if it does that. See, we just got 4. See it kissing resistance. There you go. See there? Now, watch. What do you think it's going to do now? Anybody? How about right there? And no higher than right here, right? Okay. That's actually how you can see this in real time, even without the predictor on the chart, okay? Because what this is trying to do right now, it's trying to retrace right back to 35. Anybody want to bet? Let's just go ahead and just pretend we're not even in a trade. I'm going to just take it. If it touches that line or touches stealth. Now, if I'm wrong, obviously it's going to go higher, right? But as long as we get a lower high than this, I'm going to stick with this trade. Okay, let's see if we can get that. It's right at a swing to the left there. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on because it does have a swing right here also. See it right there? And they're trying to get up here to check, look to the left to trade the right. Now, I would usually go like this, and I'd probably add on a bar close. Okay? Everybody see how to see that? Now, let me ask a question real quick of everybody on the team, because you saw this in real time in the room this morning. We got this monster trade. I think Charles got it late because obviously he wasn't in the room until 8:30-ish. So he couldn't have gotten, well, he could have. I mean, he could have been sitting on the sidelines. That's true. But he definitely wasn't in the room because I always look at the attendees and the organizer, and there was only one organizer. Okay. Now, would this make you nervous? Let's say this was your first trade of the day and you thought, hey, it's going to hit resistance. Well, you'd have to put your stop above the lightning swing, right? Let's pretend this is your first trade and you're down 3 or 4 ticks. 2 contracts, that's, I don't know, $80, $60, something like that. But isn't this doing what it's supposed to do? Stair-stepping down, stair-stepping down. It did break micro. This is my secondary swing. Okay. And obviously, if we happen to go down back below this, we could go ahead and add some contracts if we want, right? Now, Lee, on your question about when trends actually change and everything, let's run this in, because I think we went to about, I don't remember exactly, 9:30ish or something like that. Let's just run this a little faster and see if we can get it. And I want everybody to tell me when this thing starts to change trends. Anybody? Not yet, right? Look to the left to trade the right. Remember this line I had drawn? At 27, it took out with a vengeance, right? But where did we draw another line? We drew it at 47 because that's those $100, $47 to $48, that type of trade. There's always buys sitting down there, always. I mean, if they break them, they'll break them by a few ticks and then they'll shoot right back above them. Okay, but let's watch it and see, when would you actually think that this would change trends? Let's draw our lightning on here. This is lightning 2. Let's just see when this actually quits heading down on what we call a lower high and a lower low. I see right now, right here, and I see right now, right here is what I call my secondary swing. Okay? Now, with this thrusting down this much, I wouldn't use my secondary swing because that's like 25 ticks up or better. I don't use it when it's like that. Secondary swings, when they're really tighter, you can use those, but this is a very identified swing. You would not want that taken out. Everybody see that? Exactly. Yeah. Lee, on your question from earlier, I'm going to show you how we called that in the room on oil to get out of the trade. Okay? Because remember, we were still in this trade. This was a monster. This did hit 27. I'll speed it up a little bit to show you. See, it's just checking the primary swing. Look at that. Now, let me ask you a question. We're looking at this right here. You've got a swing that's identified. See that 47.17? That's an identified swing. And since they wicked it, it's a little higher at 19. Okay? Now, would that make a good spot to get out of this trade if it breaks that swing? And the answer is yes. So do you have to wait for mid-band? Now watch what actually happened here. Okay, now you have an identified swing here. You have an identified swing here. Okay, so this is still heading down so far, right? Now we don't have a trend change by any means, shape, or form, right? But remember what I even said live while we were trading this? I said if that power meter goes green after we hit this 47, that I'm going to cover my trade. Well, that's when it takes out that line if it does with a closed bar. Watch it turn green if it does. See there? Just turn green. Okay? So if you wanted a looser stop, this is what I call your secondary identified swing. Okay? If it takes it out, then you're going to get a deeper retracement like mid-band or something like that, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in fast forward, and let's go ahead and kill this. And I want everybody to tell me when this thing started changing trends. Okay, remember we got that little rollover? And this is one thing I want to mention to you too. If you take a mid-band rollover, and we already missed this one, so I'm not going to take it with the money unless this closes up and tests that swing again. But if you take that little trade like that, put your stop nice and tight because you'd already be in the trade, right? Let's just go ahead and do it. All right, let's put our stop nice and tight. Okay, because things like this happen, when they move down. For instance, does every yellow bar probe work out team? No. No. This is first after a trend change. It's an 85% probability trade. Would we and did we take it? I don't think we took it. We did call it, but I was just out of my trade, remember, on here, because that was a monster. I mean, that was a real monster. But let's watch and see. When does this actually start changing trends? Anybody? What you're going to look for, let's just kill this trade. Let's just look and see if we can see it, because this will really help you to see these. Okay, so you have a low, you have a high, you got a little lower low, right? So far, high, little lower low. So when would this change trends? Anybody? Well, you're breaking what we call a secondary swing over here, right? So if this happens to make a higher low, right, and break up, we had even talked about, remember we said you could even box this in because this is a low, a high, a higher low. It is taking this swing out right here. And even with this red background, could you actually be ready to take a long trade? Yes. Now see how it's actually breaking it to the upside right there? Okay. Now that doesn't mean you take this trade yet, because you have to have a low, a high, a higher low, has to take out the high. And then what you're going to do is you're going to actually draw like a trend line or box it in. Okay. So let's see when this actually did change trends. Low, high, higher low, but we haven't taken out the high yet, have we? I'll speed it up. There it is, see it? It ripped right through, didn't it? Now, when could you take this trade if you missed the little thrust up? Draw your lightning on your charts, look to the left to trade the right. That's a little sweet spot right there. And remember, we also talked about stealth. Now, this is a trend change, by the way. So far, it's like just a little phantom. It could turn out that it's not a trend change if they go ahead and start taking out lows again. But if they bounce off of a support level, then it will be a trend change. So what you're looking for on every single trend change is a low, a high, higher low, right? And then a higher high. Now, we're thinking, well, wait a minute, that's a phantom trade. And it is a phantom trade. But what you're looking for, even on a phantom trade, let's say that you took this trade on a phantom. Let's just see if we can get it. I'll just do 2 contracts. We'll see if we can get it. Phantom trade. We'll wait for a bar close. That's a phantom. Bar close will get in. And we're in. Okay, that's a phantom trade right there. Now, is that a legitimate trade? The answer is yes. Okay, but what you're looking for when they thrust up like this right here, is this going to hold this support right here, to give an example? And that's what you're looking for. See how this is trying to bounce as we speak right now? So if you were short on this trade, I would probably be more than likely doing something like that. See that swing right there to the left? And then actually reverse the trade, and there you go. Okay. Now that went up quite a bit more. I just didn't get to move my targets. Now let's take a minute. Let's show that NQ chart with 3-6 and see if we can see the exact same thing. Bear with me a second. I'm going to change the bar to Object Trader bars. And a 362, I think, is what he was talking about there. And we'll go ahead and see what it looks like, so you can see if you can see the exact same thing. I still personally like the 4-range charts simply because you can flat see everything about them. Now, what if you missed this trade right here? Anybody? Anybody at all? Because is there a place that you can make sure that you can get back in it? I've got a chart trying to load. Unfortunately, it's NQ. It'll take just a second. Bear with me a second. I'll check the question log. Let's see, on this it's better to just test it with one contract in case it rolls back. That's true too. Absolutely, Lee. Now, I like personally, to throw two on because you just, there's too many that'll give you 10 or 12 ticks and then right back in your face. And those 10 or 12 ticks can turn into $100 bills. But then again, if they go against you right off the bat, then obviously, yes, you're going with two contracts instead. I hope I did not lock Ninja up. Give it just a minute. Yeah, for some reason, oh gosh, I hope I didn't lock Ninja up. If I did, we'll put it on pause and then I'll restart Ninja and we'll have it. GoToWebinar is quite a hog, but with my computer, it shouldn't be. This will probably all get solved on Ninja 8 pretty soon too with that multi-threading capability. Ninja 7 is a hog. Lee, the one thing I like also about what you're talking about, if and when we get the power meter to where it sees these swings regardless, then you could actually take a break here. Now, notice my cursor spinning, so I'll just show you with the cursor. You could take a break here. You could take a break here. You could take a break here. So you could actually be in 1, 2, 3, 4. See with these lightning breaks. So real-time lightning, I'm looking real forward to. I don't think that's gonna do its thing actually. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put it on pause. I am going to restart Ninja. Be right back. Anytime Ninja is not responding, just go ahead and restart it because there's really no other way around it. I'll just start a NQ chart only so I can show this. Because we also took this trade too this morning, called it. Hope it's not trying to load those charts still. Bear with it just a second. Okay, let me put in the market replay connection. Bear with it just a moment. And let's do an NQ chart. I'll just go ahead and do it with no scripts on it just to make sure that there's no problem with the OT. And there's not. Okay, let me go ahead and switch it to 3.6. See if it still loads. And we'll put the scripts on. If all else fails with Ninja, you just got to reload the silly thing. Almost loaded. You can always tell when it stalls. I don't even have to guess at it when it stalls. You can tell. Okay, so let's look at, let's see, market replay. For some reason that went on the 10th, so I'm going to go ahead and change it to the 11th. Bear with it just a second. Give it a second to load. I apologize for this. I should not try to load a chart during a webinar. It's not wise. Okay, let's see. We've got it to 8:30 on 9/10, so I'll go ahead and bring it to today. Bear with it just a second. one chart on here. Okay, I'm going to go to 8:30. There we go. All right, let's let it load. Sorry about that. You would take those breakouts, Douglas, on your question. You're talking about the little breakouts, though, right? Oh, yes. On Lightning? Absolutely. Yeah, when you can see Lightning stair-stepping, now I wouldn't go nuts and go like, 20 contracts or anything like that. But if you started with one, to give an example, and you wanted to go ahead and go with some more, yeah, you could do that. All right. Now this, Jack, on your question, is your 3-6. Now to me, this is a little bit larger chart than I personally like to trade. Okay, because, well, for one thing, it's harder to see the swings to me. Okay, but let's just look at it and see where our swings are to the left. Okay, let's go ahead and draw on it. All right, that's 7 o'clock in the morning right there, right? So let's still draw on our chart. All right, so we have a high here. You got a micro swing, you got a secondary swing. Happens to be an a priori swing too, right? So I would expect that to hold on any kind of a pullback, like at the open, to give an example, wouldn't you? Let's see if it did. That's why we draw on our charts. I'm going to go ahead and put Object Trader on here too. Let's see if we can grab a trade. Hopefully that doesn't lock it up again. Usually when you restart Ninja, it doesn't. Okay, let's try something. That's 8:30, right? Now we didn't get anything because it's too quick. I've got it going obviously too quick. So we didn't get our trade. Okay, that's no big deal. All right, so that's 8:30. Notice that your box was long on this. You got your lines drawn and everything on here. This was like a monster little trade, but what if you missed this trade? Anybody? What would you do if you missed this trade? We've already missed it, so what are we going to do? Anybody? You got to wait for a pullback, right? Okay, so we're at 78, right? So let's see if we can get a little pullback on this little thing. We'll take it if it does. This is why I like personally the 4-range charts better. I can definitely see them so much better than I can see these. Yeah, let's draw on it. Let's see. Okay, we've already been here. You can clearly tell. See it? Thrust, retrace. So you need to go here and check and see if they've been there. They've been there, it looks like to me. So I would draw my line here and here. And that looks like to me a pretty good area to more than likely get in that trade. What do y'all think? Let's just see. Let's just see if it does. Yeah, you can still see it even on a Renko chart. There's no question about that. Let's see if we can get a little pullback. If it goes too high, we'll have to, we'll have to get a different pullback, right? And then you just wait like a patient person and wait and see if it's going to pull back into a support area, right? Got to get some kind of a pullback though. Bet you I could do this so much easier on a 4-range chart. I'm so used to a 4-range chart. See how real-time lightning would get you in this trade though? If you missed this down here, you would have gotten in 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 here, here. I can't wait to get that thing because then you don't miss out on some of these good thrusts like this because it'll be automatically doing it instead, and that's a good way to trade. But let's see if we can get a little pullback. Now I would be looking for right in through here and here. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get it. Now keep in mind, we missed an entire run, but we called this trade in the room. So I had that thing going 100 times, so we just couldn't get it. But let's just see if we can get a pullback. Draw on your charts. Right here. Right here. See if we can get it. It's got to at least touch the line. That's good enough for me. Put my stop just under mid-band and see if we can get a little trade. See how even missing all that, we just simply waited for a pullback. Now, is this trade going to work out? Well, I don't know, but so far it is. Everybody see that? It's a pretty good way to trade, isn't it? And if they double top or anything like that, because that's a huge thrust, you can always protect your coin, especially with these larger bars. Like that, I wouldn't let them take that out personally. That's a little swing. That's a little swing on a 4-range. See how it changed power meter already? So we got 180 bucks. That's not too shabby. Okay. Where do you think? Let's just say you missed that one. Let's just pretend you missed that. That's a double top. That's a swing. There's another swing right there. That looks like to me that should bounce off that swing. See if it did. Certainly did. See it? You can draw on your charts and you can get these trades. There's no question about it. That was also a predictor trade, by the way. Let's see, what's your trigger for pullbacks into previous support or resistance market? I like markets myself because if you draw on your charts, now I was trying to draw on this one. This is a little bit larger bar than I personally like. But you can still see the swings. See, it nailed it within a tick or so anyway. That one did too. You know, would you chase it now? The answer is no. You already missed the trade, right? So we got 170 bucks on that one. Not too shabby. Let's see if we can get another one. Let's draw on our charts. Let's see here. They've already been here, so I don't think they'll go there. There's a swing right through there. See a little thrust, retrace thrust. Let's see if we can get something. There's also one right there too. So I'm going to draw 2 lines on it. That's pretty much where I'm looking. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, the real-time lightning is going to be superb. Buzz, 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 buzz. See how that did? See if you draw your lines on your charts. Now, what would it take to actually change trends on this chart? Lee, on your question? You know, because this is a huge move up. So keep in mind, this could easily, at some time during the day, would change. Well, right now, I see this as my swing level, right here. Okay, I always like to look to the left. Even for instance, we're still heading up, right? Well, we don't know how long it's going to head up. So we're going to draw on our charts and see if we can actually catch a trend change. It may have gone up all afternoon. I don't remember because we quit trading NQ about 10 till 10 or something like that. But let's just see. We've got a good trade in. I'm going to go to break even on my last contract. And I'll move it a little bit faster too. Okay, let's see here. I haven't checked that swing just yet here, but you've also got support underneath here. And let's see if we happen to get any kind of a trend change. That's had the normal amount of thrusts already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's had 7 thrusts. 7 legs, that is. Let's see, to consider a reversal, it would have to test and drop below the 5993. I would think, well, matter of fact, I like to even watch these predictors, because until it takes this predictor out, it's still pretty much heading up. See how it just tested support there? That was another good little bounce area. You could have added, had the line drawn, right? So you could have added there. But when will you know for sure that if it does happen to break down, well, it might be. Let's see. I'll go ahead and kill this trade because it did take out. That changed. All right, let's look at this and see. We have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low. We have a lower high and we've got a lower low again, right? So is this actually starting to change trends? Kind of, isn't it? It is starting to, right? Okay, so let me go to a 4 range and see if we, because I can nail this thing on a 4 range, I'm almost positive. Let's see, you got support right here. That broke below mid-band. Testing. Let's see if it tests right here. We're still not sure just yet, right? Now we're getting sure. See how it thrust down, retraced right into resistance, broke support, and my secondary swing is right down here. Now we're not going to change trends totally until it takes this out. Everybody sees that, right? High, low, higher, high. So until it takes this out, you're taking a little bit more of a chance on this trade, and especially when it bounces off support. Okay, but we are short on it, right? Anybody? Now, what if you missed this trade entirely, absolutely, 100% missed it? Anybody? Let's see. Yeah, it's still a deep probe at that time, but keep in mind when you start seeing high, low, lower lows, you're starting to break. Okay, but let's see if anybody can, by just what I taught tonight, figure out right where that next trade is. It's going to be harder for me on a little bit larger bar, but I'll see if I can do it. Need to get at least close to that line. That's resistance, right? Yeah, that's resistance. Came really close to it. Everybody see that? That's when you can tell pretty much that it is breaking down, when it thrusts down and it checks a resistance area. See, even on the larger chart, we still got it. So it turned out to be a good trade, right? So the question is, where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? Let's see if we can nail it. It's a little bit larger bar, so I don't trust it quite as much, but okay, we've already been here. Here's a looking to the left to trade the right. Here's another line right here, right? See if we can get, we're in 2. Let's see if we can get, now see, that's right at resistance. See it? See there? Just draw on your charts. They are literally absolutely amazing if you just draw on your charts. Because could you take this trade like even now? Yeah, see it? It's kissing resistance. It's giving you another opportunity to get into it. Let's just pretend you weren't in it. Hit the market order, you know, because you do want to be in that trade, right? Now, you wanted to be in at the line. See how they do that? Continually, right? They constantly give you these great trades if you just simply draw on your charts. Now let's see if we can nail the next one and then we'll wrap. Anybody? Where's the next trade? Well, we don't know for sure it's going to be here, but it's tested here, right? So we're going to draw a line here. We always have to draw at our midband also. Midband's following it, by the way. So is that a good area to be watching for another trade? It's resistance. Let's see if it is. I'll fast forward it. We may not get it, but let's just see if it'll go up there. Look to the left, trade the right. That's at a midband, so that may roll over right here. This, since we didn't get yellow bars, and see, that's another reason I don't like larger bars like that, because we didn't get a yellow bar. So this trade, I would probably be hesitant, but I'd probably take it if it takes that line out, because these are pretty good sized bars, and that is support right there. Let's just see if it works. I'm going to take a chance on it, but I'm going to put a tight stop on it. See, with yellow bars, you probably would have gotten that trade a little easier, because those are big bars. They're clean, but see, the only problem with a bar that size is you don't see these beautiful yellow bar probes and, you know, deep probes and things like that near as easily. While we're doing that, hopefully it won't lock us up, but I'll draw a 4 range, and let's see if you could see the trade better. I'm going to draw a NQ chart, 4 range, and we'll put our indicators on it. See if you can see it better. Oh yeah, see there? You had your primary swing. See how much easier that is to see? Draw your line, right? See that little swing there? So if it hit that line right there, wouldn't that be, and especially being midband, wouldn't that have been a decent trade? Yes. So we actually took it, didn't we? And we'll see if it worked out. We'll fast forward it and see if this trade works. Looks like it's working to me. All right, beautiful trade, wasn't it? Now keep in mind, I turned that up too fast to get out of the trade, but I like to personally use the lightning. Okay. Now just for the fun of it, where's the trend change on this chart? If it does trend change, where's the trend change on this chart? Anybody? Well, it broke the white ellipse pretty solid, but you've already missed the trade. So where would the trade be if this comes back? Let's see if we can figure it out, and then we're going to wrap. Okay, you got a thrust, retrace, thrust. I'm going to go to the 4 range. Let's see if we can get it on the 4 range easier. Okay, so you got a swing right across here that they haven't checked. They've checked that one, see it right there? They checked it. They took that out, so I would just about bet you it'll bounce right in through here, if it's going to bounce at all. You are getting a high that's taking out this high over here. No, it's not yet, so we're not changing trends yet. Still looking for shorts right this very minute. But let's see if we can. This looks like it could trend change to me, though, because that's what happens when you get those big old green stealths. Oh, there's a green background. You got to wait for the retracement, though, right? Let's see if we nailed our chart to where that retracement's going to be. High, low, higher high, higher lows. So we need a retracement. I'm going to draw another line right here, too. That's already retraced there. When you get a thrust, you're looking for it to come down to the next level. Looking to the left to trade the right. And we'll see if we can get it. We don't have Object Trader on, but let's just see if it hits that line. Pretty darn close to that line, wasn't it? Also hit a predictor too. See how if you drew this with your little box, wouldn't you have already been in that trade? Now I kicked it up to like 100 and we don't have Object Trader on it, But didn't we draw those lines in the right spot? So in real time, if I hadn't had it going 100 times, couldn't a person have taken, if they missed this little box here, couldn't they have taken it when it came right back down and kissed it again? Sure they could. So that's what you want to do is you want to look, wait for the right trade entry, draw on your charts, and believe me, I think it'll make a world of difference in your trading. You'll see trades you've never seen before if you just draw on your charts. Okay, we'll do this again in the room tomorrow, and I think everybody can tell we nail these trades right and left in that room lots and lots of times, so they can be very good ones. All right, anybody have any final questions before we wrap? Jack, on your question from earlier, did you see where that changed trends though? See where this is actually, this is what we call a medium swing. It's starting to take it out, so you get a thrust, you get a retrace, okay? This is a little bit larger bars than I like, but if you saw this happening in real time, it breaks above, pulls back and kisses, you got support right in through there. See it on that chart? And there's your entry. Where would your entry be again? Well, you got to wait for a thrust and a retrace. Make some dollars in the AM, absolutely. Y'all want to do it? We'll do it tomorrow morning. If you weren't in this trade right now, what do you think? I'd draw my lines on my chart. This is a little bit larger bar, so you've also got a swing right across here. See it? It's a little bit larger bar, so that's actually a swing on a 4-range chart. Okay, I draw my box just like this. And let's see if it doesn't hit our box. Now, if it goes deeper, remember, if it goes deeper than a micro, then it'll usually go check medium. If it trusts micro, it'll head on up. See there? It's bouncing off my line. See if it continues. We'll find out. There you go. See there? Draw on your charts. I'm here to tell you it makes a world of difference in your trading. Okay? Everybody have a great evening, and we'll do it tomorrow. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. David, yeah, you can Skype me right after the room closes here. Okay? See everybody tomorrow morning. Good night. Boy, that thing's moving fast now. I've got it 500 times. Yeah, that's quick. All right, good night, everyone.